Men, here's the truth. When a woman tells you her problems, it's not a test, it's not a trap, it's not a call for solutions, at least not in the way you might think. In the modern dating world, many men feel pressured to fix her problems, offer advice, or prove their value through action. That's a mistake. Women share their challenges because they want connection, attention, and presence, not a lecture or a checklist of solutions. When she opens up, she's showing vulnerability. She's giving you access to a part of her inner world that she doesn't show everyone. That access is a form of trust, and trust is rare. A woman doesn't casually share frustrations, worries, or insecurities with someone she doesn't feel comfortable around. When she talks, it signals that she wants to be seen, heard, and acknowledged, not managed or corrected. Many men misread this. They jump straight to advice mode, overcomplicate, or try to solve things, which can unintentionally push her away. Women aren't looking for a problem-solving machine. They're looking for presence, understanding, and calm emotional steadiness. Your ability to listen without overreacting or over-explaining is what actually increases respect and attraction. In this video, you'll discover why listening matters more than fixing, how to respond without losing masculinity, and why your calm, grounded presence is more valuable than any advice you could give. You'll learn the subtle dynamics that make women feel emotionally safe and connected when they share their challenges, and why doing it correctly can deepen attraction and trust. 1. Listening. Without fixing men, the first principle to understand is simple but powerful. When a woman shares her problems, she wants you to listen, not to fix. Your instinct might be to jump in, offer advice, or propose solutions immediately. Stop. That's the reaction that turns trust into frustration. Women value your calm, attentive presence more than your solution skills. When you listen without rushing to act, you signal emotional stability and confidence, traits that are naturally attractive. Listening without fixing doesn't mean you're passive or indifferent. It means your focus is on understanding, not controlling. She wants to know that she can share openly without being judged or interrupted. When a man allows space for her thoughts and feelings, he demonstrates that he respects her autonomy and emotional intelligence. This kind of presence builds trust quickly. Behaviorally, this looks like maintaining eye contact, nodding thoughtfully, and asking occasional clarifying questions, but not constantly interrupting or offering unsolicited advice. Simple phrases like, "I hear you," or "That sounds tough," show engagement without trying to redirect the conversation. The goal is to validate, not solve. Many men overcomplicate this by thinking attraction requires constant guidance or authority. It doesn't. Emotional calm and attentive listening are far more magnetic. Psychologically, women share problems as a form of emotional bonding. When you listen without fixing, you create a safe environment that allows vulnerability to flourish. Vulnerability is rare, and it's powerful. By being present, you become someone she can rely on emotionally. That's the kind of energy that makes a man memorable and desirable. Avoid the mistake of turning her problems into a project. Don't interrupt her with your stories or compare her struggles to others. That shifts the focus away from her and undermines the trust she's giving you. Your role is to be a stable anchor, not a consultant. Over time, consistent listening without fixing establishes you as someone she can confide in freely. It positions you above men who react emotionally, overthink, or overcomplicate her feelings. Calm, grounded presence is rare in the modern dating world. When you offer that, you elevate your value instantly without having to manipulate, impress, or perform. Remember, the power isn't in the advice you give. It's in the trust and comfort your presence generates. Women may not say it aloud, but the ones who feel safe opening up see you differently. You become someone she can count on emotionally, which deepens attraction far more effectively than any solution you could offer. 2. Vulnerability signals. Trust men, Here's a key point. When a woman shares her problems with you, she is signaling trust. That's huge. Women are naturally cautious about who they open up to emotionally. They don't dump their frustrations on just anyone. They choose men they feel safe with, men who can handle emotional honesty without losing composure. If she's telling you about her challenges, insecurities, or daily struggles, that means she trusts you enough to show vulnerability. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's emotional risk. When she exposes her inner thoughts, she's taking a chance that you will judge, dismiss, or misunderstand her. The fact that she doesn't shut down means she sees you as someone capable of handling depth, complexity, and honesty. Recognize that. Most men underestimate how powerful this is in modern dating. It's one of the strongest signs she sees you as emotionally competent and reliable. Behaviorally, this is your moment to demonstrate composure. Don't frown, panic, or jump into problem-solving mode. Keep your tone steady, your responses measured, and your focus on her words. Simple affirmations like, "I understand," or "That must be tough," show empathy without overstepping. Avoid trying to cheer her up or minimize her feelings. That diminishes the trust she is extending to you. Psychologically, women crave emotional safety. Opening up triggers a natural test. Can this man hold space without judgment? Your response either strengthens attraction or diminishes it. If you react with calm attentiveness, she associates you with reliability and emotional security, two qualities that are incredibly attractive and rare in men today. Over time, this trust becomes a cornerstone of her connection with you. It's important to note that vulnerability signals don't guarantee romantic interest, but they do create emotional proximity. By being present and understanding, you elevate your perceived value without performing or controlling. Your presence alone, grounded and consistent, becomes magnetic. Avoid overanalyzing her feelings or trying to decode everything. She isn't asking for solutions, she's sharing her world. Your job is to honor it. If you react emotionally, try to fix things impulsively, or dismiss her feelings, you break trust. If you stay composed, you reinforce it. Men often miss this step because they mistake vulnerability for weakness or manipulation. It isn't either. It's a signal. She's allowing you into her inner circle, and that access is limited. How you respond determines whether that access grows, strengthens, or closes off. In short, when a woman opens up about her problems, it's a subtle but powerful sign of trust. Your ability to respond with calm, attentive, and non-judgmental presence increases your value and deepens connection naturally. Handling this well separates high-value men from those who overreact, overthink, or overcompensate. 3. She wants presence, not solutions. Men, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is assuming that when a woman tells you her problems, she's asking you to fix them. She isn't. She's asking for presence. This is a subtle but crucial distinction that separates men who build attraction from men who push women away. Listening, understanding, and holding space are far more powerful than advice or action in these moments. Women share problems because they want someone who can absorb their emotions without judgment. They want acknowledgement and validation, not a lecture or a plan. When you respond by immediately offering solutions, you shift the dynamic. You move from being a calm, supportive presence to a problem-solving machine. That may seem helpful, but it actually reduces attraction. The emotional energy she's sharing gets redirected toward logic instead of connection, and the bond weakens. Behaviorally, presence means giving her attention fully. Maintain eye contact, listen actively, and react appropriately without trying to control or fix the situation. Use verbal cues sparingly. "I understand," "That sounds difficult," or "I hear you," to show engagement without dominating the conversation. Avoid turning her sharing into a debate, an instruction session, or a moment to showcase your knowledge. Your calm focus communicates that you are secure and emotionally competent. Psychologically, women are drawn to men who remain grounded during emotional turbulence. High-value men don't overreact, don't take things personally, and don't feel the need to solve everything. Presence demonstrates stability, reliability, and strength. These qualities are rare and subconsciously attractive because they mirror the qualities of a man capable of supporting her emotionally without losing himself in the process. It's also important to note that her sharing her problems is often a test, not of your intellect, but of your emotional capacity. She's observing how you handle complexity, stress, and empathy. A man who listens attentively, without trying to redirect, control, or overcorrect, earns trust and respect. A man who reacts impulsively risks pushing her away. Many men fail at this because they confuse attraction with utility. They assume the more they fix, the more she'll like them. The reality is the opposite. Women value men who can hold emotional space for them, not men who treat their emotions as tasks to complete. In short, when a woman shares her challenges, she's inviting you into her world. She's testing your presence, your calmness, and your ability to hold space. Respond with steady attention and emotional composure, and you strengthen trust, deepen attraction, and position yourself as someone she naturally turns to, not for solutions, but for the quiet reassurance of stability and understanding. 4. Your calm reaction builds respect. Men, here's the truth. How you react when a woman shares her problems determines how she perceives you. Calmness is magnetic. Overreaction, defensiveness, or panic signals instability. When you stay grounded, emotionally steady, and composed, you communicate that you can handle complexity without being consumed by it. This is the essence of masculine presence, and it naturally earns respect. When she vents or talks about challenges, you may feel the urge to fix things or provide advice immediately. That's normal, but pause. Take a breath. Focus on being emotionally present rather than solution-oriented. Your tone, body language, and verbal cues convey far more than your words. Calmness communicates strength. Strength creates safety. Safety fosters connection. Behaviorally, calmness looks like attentive listening without interruption, measured nods, and minimal verbal reactions. Simple responses like, "I understand why that's frustrating," or "that sounds challenging," show engagement without overcomplicating. Avoid giving ultimatums, lectures, or moral guidance, even subtly. Your composure shows that you are comfortable with emotional depth, which is rare and attractive. Psychologically, women equate calm emotional handling with stability. A man who doesn't react impulsively demonstrates that he isn't controlled by external pressures or drama. This builds unconscious respect. Respect grows into attraction over time because women naturally seek partners who offer emotional security. When you react calmly, you also give her the freedom to share more. That continued sharing strengthens her emotional connection to you without manipulation. Many men misunderstand this principle. They confuse passion or intensity with value. They believe demonstrating care means reacting strongly or trying to fix everything. In reality, high-value men demonstrate care through emotional restraint, composure, and attentiveness. Calm presence creates contrast. Men who lose control over small emotional disclosures appear less stable, less confident, and less attractive. Your calmness also sets boundaries subtly. By not reacting dramatically, you indicate that her emotional landscape doesn't control you. You're present, but you're not consumed. This balance of accessibility and independence increases your perceived value without effort. In short, staying calm when a woman shares her problems builds respect, fosters trust, and strengthens attraction. It shows emotional maturity, stability, and the ability to hold space. These qualities make you memorable and desirable, because in a world where most men overreact, you stand out as someone rare, a man who can handle depth without losing himself. 5. Responding with empathy, not solutions. Men, the key difference between being attractive and being ignored when a woman shares her problems is empathy versus solutions. Women don't want a lecture, a checklist, or a how-to-fix-it moment. They want emotional resonance. They want to feel that you understand what they're experiencing, that you acknowledge it, and that you can hold their feelings without judgment. Empathy doesn't mean you agree with everything she says. It doesn't mean you have to solve her problems. It means you meet her emotionally where she is. When she feels understood, her subconscious associates you with safety, reliability, and presence, qualities that naturally draw attraction. Empathy signals that you're capable of intimacy without needing to dominate or control the situation. Behaviorally, empathy looks like reflecting her feelings back subtly. Statements like, "That must have been frustrating," or "I can see why that upset you," show you're emotionally engaged. Nonverbal cues, nodding, maintaining eye contact, soft tone, and a relaxed posture, reinforce your attentiveness. Avoid jumping to advice, corrective statements, or comparisons to other people's problems. Doing so shifts focus away from her and undermines the emotional connection. Psychologically, empathy fulfills a deep need for validation. Women instinctively test men to see who can hold space without reacting impulsively or trying to control outcomes. By responding empathetically, you pass this test effortlessly. Empathy communicates that you're reliable, grounded, and emotionally mature. These qualities create attraction far more powerfully than any attempts to fix or impress. Many men fail at this because they feel pressured to perform value. They assume the more solutions they provide, the more she'll like them. In reality, this overcomplicates the interaction and often reduces attraction. High-value men know that emotional presence, calm composure, and empathetic acknowledgement create far deeper connection than advice ever could. Empathy also encourages repeated sharing. Women tend to open up to men who make them feel understood. By creating a safe emotional environment, you invite deeper connection naturally. She will seek your perspective, not because she needs your solutions, but because she trusts your presence. In short, when a woman shares her problems, respond with empathy, not solutions. Meet her where she is, acknowledge her feelings, and maintain calm attentiveness. This approach builds trust, strengthens attraction, and positions you as someone emotionally competent, a rare quality that naturally draws women closer without any need for manipulation or overcompensation. 6. Boundaries. Increase attraction. Men, here's a critical insight. Listening to a woman's problems doesn't mean losing yourself in them. In fact, maintaining boundaries while she shares her challenges increases your attractiveness. Many men make the mistake of overinvesting emotionally, taking on her stress as their own, or constantly trying to fix what isn't theirs to solve. That overextension creates dependence and lowers perceived value. Boundaries, on the other hand, communicate strength, stability, and self-respect. When she shares, your role is to be present and empathetic, but not consumed. You don't need to internalize her emotional load or feel obligated to solve her problems. By holding space without overstepping, you show her that you are emotionally capable and self-directed. That balance is magnetic because it contrasts with men who either overreact, try too hard, or make everything about themselves. Behaviorally, boundaries are subtle but noticeable. They manifest in your tone of voice, body language, and verbal responses. You listen without interrupting, you remain calm even if the topic is stressful, and you avoid taking sides unnecessarily. You also know when to step back if a conversation becomes too draining. This doesn't make you cold or distant. It makes you composed and reliable. Psychologically, boundaries create intrigue. When a woman realizes you aren't fully absorbed by her problems, she begins to notice that your presence is intentional. You aren't desperate for approval or overly attached to her emotional state. That independence triggers subconscious respect and strengthens attraction. Women are naturally drawn to men who maintain their identity and composure, even in emotionally charged moments. Another advantage of boundaries is that they prevent emotional burnout. A man who listens constantly without regard for his own emotional energy eventually loses presence, patience, and calm. That's exactly what diminishes attraction. By protecting your own emotional space, you remain a steady and appealing figure over time. Many men struggle with this because they equate empathy with total immersion. High-value men understand that empathy is about presence and understanding, not absorption or obligation. Maintaining this distinction makes your attention more powerful because it is given freely, not taken for granted. In short, boundaries while listening are not coldness, they are strength. They make your presence meaningful, controlled, and attractive. You show that you are available without being consumed, empathetic without being overextended, and emotionally competent without being reactive. That combination increases respect, deepens emotional connection, and naturally strengthens attraction. 7. Emotional presence creates lasting connection. Men, the final principle to understand is that your emotional presence is what truly matters when a woman shares her problems. Presence isn't about offering solutions, giving advice, or performing to impress her. It's about being grounded, attentive, and consistent while she opens up. When you master this, you become the man she naturally trusts, respects, and feels drawn to without needing to chase or persuade. Emotional presence is demonstrated through calm composure, empathetic acknowledgement, and active listening. It means focusing entirely on her in the moment, reflecting understanding, and maintaining your own stability. Women are wired to notice subtle cues, tone, body language, patience, and consistency. When you show presence in a high-value way, you communicate that you are reliable, secure, and capable of handling depth without drama. Those traits create a strong foundation for attraction. Behaviorally, presence looks like responding thoughtfully without overreacting, offering verbal affirmation sparingly, and allowing her space to express herself fully. You don't dominate the conversation, correct her perspective, or try to teach her how to feel. Instead, you mirror her emotional experience, validate it, and remain grounded. This approach creates trust and intimacy, which are far more powerful than any flashy gesture or attempt at problem-solving. Psychologically, emotional presence taps into her subconscious perception of security. Women are drawn to men who can navigate emotional complexity without losing themselves. Your ability to remain steady while she expresses frustration, anxiety, or vulnerability signals emotional competence, which increases attraction and deepens connection. She begins to associate you with calm, trust, and stability, qualities that are rare and highly valuable. Many men fail at this stage because they overcomplicate, overthink, or try to perform. They want to impress, solve, or control the interaction. High-value men understand that real influence comes from being present, not performing. Emotional presence is about subtlety, consistency, and restraint. It allows her to feel supported without dependency, engaged without pressure, and heard without judgment. By consistently demonstrating presence, you strengthen the emotional bond naturally. She begins to value your company not for what you can do, but for how you make her feel. Seen, safe, and understood. That emotional imprint lasts far longer than any advice, gift, or demonstration of competence. In short, emotional presence is the foundation for meaningful connection when a woman shares her problems. Listening without fixing, responding with empathy, maintaining boundaries, and staying calm all feed into this presence. It's rare, powerful, and deeply attractive. A man who masters this doesn't just hold her attention, he earns her trust, respect, and long-term emotional investment. Men, here's the takeaway. When a woman shares her problems, it's not a test, a trap, or a call for action. It's a window into her trust, her vulnerability, and her desire for connection. Your response determines whether that window opens wider or closes. Listening without fixing, responding with empathy, staying calm, maintaining boundaries, and demonstrating emotional presence are not just techniques. They are expressions of your emotional maturity and stability. Women naturally respect and are attracted to men who can hold space without overreacting or trying to control the situation. Your calm presence signals strength, reliability, and composure, creating a safe environment where vulnerability is rewarded, not weaponized. By resisting the urge to offer solutions and focusing on attentive engagement, you position yourself as someone rare, someone who can navigate emotional complexity without losing himself. This is about connection, not performance. Presence is magnetic because it is genuine. When you remain grounded while she shares her struggles, you deepen trust, increase respect, and foster attraction in ways that advice, gestures, or attempts to fix cannot.